Hey, how you guys doing? So we are now on the 7th episode for Love Live Superstar for Season 2. Of course, if you wish to watch this, you can always watch it through the main official source, which is Crunchyroll. You'll be able to see that if you have a premium subscription. Otherwise, of course, you are going to be a little behind. We're going to be 1 day behind. If you don't have a premium subscription, I guess probably just can't watch it because it's just how they roll. And there's always the unofficial sources if you wish to watch those as well. And of course, if you click the link in the description below, I have a poll where you can participate and rank the girls from Leela 1 through 9, 1 being your favorite and 9 being your least favorite. And of course, I'll go over these results on Thursday so you can see where these girls reign. And of course, I'm curious to see, now that all the girls are official part group, I am curious to see where each girl resides and see how that trend goes. I guess this episode, of course, is going to be focusing on Ren, because her name was in the named episode. You are Ultra Rare Ren. So, of course, I was assuming it's going to have to be something with Ren, probably a gaming addiction problem. So, the episode starts, and we get to see this, which, if you don't know, is basically like Beat Saber, or their rip-off version of it, and they're playing the song from Sunny Passion on here. And you have sabers, and you try to slash a bunch of the notes as they come off. It's a rhythm game, more or less. And it's pretty much a direct copy, but basically we see that Ren was trying to play it, and she was starting off pretty well, but towards the end, she got overwhelmed. It's not a particularly hard-looking song, not that I played the game, but I've seen people play, but she looks like she is struggling a lot, and looks like her prediction is probably right about what I thought would be her probably having game addiction. So the girls then meet at Connell's place to discuss the new theme for this year's Love Live. So then the girls are going to discuss the idea, which of course this one's going to be fully remote versus the other previous themes, which was rap and like solo parts. So the idea is that they're going to do it remotely, which means a lot more people can participate. Kuku's kind of mad because she wanted to announce that to the rest of the girls, but then we had the Melon Panda Simba ask what we're going to do about the songs. So Chisato was saying, Kano can write the lyrics, Ren can do the piano and composing, but Kano's like, but aren't we going to get the first years involved? But they are saying that, you know what, us just being there is going to make it fresh enough for them. Then we have Ren on the sidelines, who is kind of almost hallucinating from probably a big lack of sleep and being overworked. And of course, she's playing a lot of games, so that's causing her to kind of hallucinate and kind of act a little screwy. So then Kano's a little worried, so she talks to her mom, and she's kind of discussing that the fact that she's overworked, that maybe she should appoint someone else to help her out in the student council, but Ren kind of declined on that because she wants to do it by herself, and the fact that they just didn't have that many students. So of course, Kano is thinking, what can she do to help her out? Ren, of course, then goes and tries to compose a song as she is supposed to do, and the first years are, walking by, and then May is like, oh shoot, I forgot my notebook. What a convenient excuse for me to go by near the place where Ren is practicing with the piano, and I'm just going to happen to hear this because I need a convenient excuse to have it so that she can find her. Wow, who could have guessed? So May goes, grabs a notebook, and wow, she hears piano down the hall. So what could that possibly be? So of course she walks out and she finds, guess who, Ren, trying to play the piano. But when she walks over, she also notices that Ren was doing something else, and that is playing games on her phone, which goes to show that she's definitely having a bit of a problem with that. And Ren's a little embarrassed by that, and she doesn't want May to tell everyone else. So I guess she tries to bribe her. It's like, okay, you know what? You like idols, I'm going to give you something from Sunny Passion. I was like, wait, no you don't? So then I'm going to buy you some bread or something like that. But May's more focused on, what the heck is going on. So Ren brings her to her house, and she shows her collection of game consoles. And I mean, like, this is like almost all the game consoles that have been out there, like the Dreamcast, the Sunny PlayStation, I guess is what they're going to call it here. They got Tamagotchis, Game Boys, the Sega consoles, Xbox, which not very popular in Japan, but she got it, and even some rare ones in there. But basically, this stemmed from, that time when she went over to play some games, and, the mate's like, sure, why not? Why don't you play some games? So Ren's like, okay, I'll try a few games. I guess the logo is a strawberry instead of the other ones. Basically, she played a little bit, and by a little bit, I mean for the whole day, and suddenly it was night, and, I've been there. I know what that's like, but then slowly she was handed more and more consoles, and we're talking about some rare ones and some old ones here, and she suddenly played a lot. And then May's like, okay, I'll try some of these, and May's like, you know what, this is actually fun. And she has a lot of these special consoles, even with VR and some of the ones that can simulate driving. And this, I mean, arcade cabinets are not cheap, but like, what the heck is this? where did she get all this money? Weren't they complaining about not having enough money and having to fire the maid potentially and school shut down? Like, and they had all this money for this? But so then Ren's like, here's the key to his room. Like, I can't be trusted to do this. And side note, I thought May was kind of cute here holding that strawberry plush. I would like something like that. But she was going to say, you know what? Why don't you just give him Kanon so that he can't get stuck with the temptation with all these video games? But then Ren's like, but if Kanon finds out, this would happen. So I don't think I could show the whole segment without getting, you know, copyrighted. So at the segment a little bit, but basically, you know, the girl is going to say, "We hate you. You're such a failure, Ren." And I just found the transition really well done and funny. When, you know, I really like when Love Live really over exaggerates the scenes that we've seen before and how they really overreact to certain problems. But, you know, Ren is going to feel like it because of this, and if it gets out, the school out club is going to fall apart, and it's all because of her, and she doesn't want that to happen. Obviously, no one does. May's kind of like, you're overreacting a little bit, but she ends up taking the key, and she was then spotted with that, and May's like, no, this is nothing. But then Shuki's like, oh, really? I think you're hiding something. So she gets close and puts on her goggles, and May's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Meanwhile, Kanon is focusing on that. What can she do to help Ren? And then she thought, like, you know, you encourage me to become the president of this club. Why can't you become like the vice president to help out Ren? Meanwhile, the other girls are, of course, trying to figure out what the heck May is doing. So they see May and Ren meeting up with her. So what could this possibly be? So what actually is going on is, of course, we already know that Ren is going to discuss with May, you know, I have trouble composing a song because I'm thinking too much about games and it's really affecting her ability to do it. But then May's like, you know, I also struggle with that once in a while. And Ren's like, whoa, please show me your ways. And then the girls on the sideline look and see this very passionate look into her, and it can only be one thing. Love. So of course the girls are freaking out. Wait, are they possibly dating? What should they possibly do? You know, the forbidden realm here. And Suna's like, we can't do this. This is scandalous. And Natsu's like, ooh, I can get a lot of clicks from this. But then Shiki just goes up and asks her, you know, do you love her? And May's like, what? What are you talking about? And she's like, ooh, the forbidden realm. She's trying to figure out, you know, why did these girls get that kind of idea? And, you know, they are saying, you know, they are like looking at each other like love and with the eyes. And she says like, oh, so it is the forbidden realm. But no, it's just, May tells her that I just needed some advice. Or Ren needs some advice. And she's like, advice on what? So she pulls out this potion. Here's my truth serum, so you're going to tell me the truth. Meanwhile, Ren is just trying to compose and struggle to not play games. But Kanon comes in, and Kanon's like, I'm going to help you out and become the vice president. And that all she needs is her permission. So not officially, but we'll have to see if that officially becomes a thing. But May comes in and tells her, you know what? Why don't you just tell everybody the truth about your situation? Because, you know, that was a lot of fun what May had to deal with. So then Ren comes and tells the rest of the group that she was struggling with her addiction with games, and that she's really, really sorry about that. And she actually even cries about it. But the rest of the girls kind of find it funny. It's like, it's just games, not the end of the world. And they're even saying the struggle makes her a lot more relatable. I wonder if more people find her relatable and rank her higher in the polls. Probably not, right? And then she asks, you know, you're not angry at me for all of this? And Khan's like, alright, we'll give you a punishment then. What could that be? They all go play her games with her and enjoy it together. And basically, Ren becomes a very sweaty gamer and getting really, really into that game. And they're trying to beat something that she couldn't beat. On the sidelines, if you notice, there will be May and Shiki who are having a little moment where May's saying, you were worried about me, weren't you? And then, of course, Shiki does that face. So, it's back, and we'll see how much more that keeps happening, but definitely hinting at something. But basically, the girls get really deep and intense to it and get really close. And I guess a very dramatic scene here, which I feel like a lot of people can use these scenes for their own edits or memes. May or may not do that in the future, but They're clearly really overreacting to the boss battle. And what happened at the end? Well, they see an achievement here, which, signifies that they did it. And they are really happy. But again, take a look to the left where Mei and Shiki are. And Shiki kind of collapses on Mei, and she says, "Stop leading me on like that." So we're getting some little more moments with that. So after that, she kind of has trouble walking, so Mei kind of has to carry her because it's Mei's fault that she's like this. But that would go ahead and pretty much end the episode, and then Ren plays a little bit of the piano. Of course, this is going to be the piano version of the second ending, and I just thought that was really nice touch for that episode. So overall, we get to see Ren be able to go back to more or less normal, plus she gets to play more video games. And here we got the preview, the next episode, episode 8, called Chanceway. Not much that I can really see from here, but the one scene I would notice is you can see these two girls have the armband, so I'm assuming that Kano is officially going to be the vice president. And all the way to the right, we see some other girls, which look like they're in a middle school outfit, so maybe they're doing some recruitment, or there are some potential middle schoolers coming and joining potentially, or the girls are talking and trying to really have a potential new first years to be able to join Leo the next year down around, which I guess potentially season 3. I don't know if Vienna or Vienna or whatever you want to call her name is going to be there. She is an 8th grader. We might see her. Who knows? But I figured if they're going to do something that important, they might have shown that in preview, or maybe they want to keep it secret. I don't know. But past this, then of course we have the Leela no Uta. So without further ado, let's go and listen to that song.
歌おうララララ声を重ね誰も置いてかないよさあ行こう一人じゃできないことも一緒ならできるはずだブブダイ想像もしないことばかり
So that song was Adventure Prime, sponsored by Amazon Prime. Definitely. But we can see a bunch of girls interact. And of course, this was a song that was sung by all the girls, which was the first for Leela no Uta for this season. My favorite scene was definitely this scene where you get to see Mei get running around and getting chased by that sheep. I thought that was kind of cute. But yeah, that was kind of that song. If you're more of a kind of fan in terms of Emma songs, I say this is definitely your jam. I'm not really huge on that. It's a fine song. None of the Leela no Uta's really caught my attention so far, but there are definitely a wide variety of types of songs. They're definitely more of that slower, mellow kind of melodies that some of you might enjoy, but it's fine. I definitely think this would have been insanely fitting for Emma though. If you take a look at this scene, one thing you should note is that towards the top, they put a notice up there saying next episode will be airing on 9/11. So we won't get an episode next week. I believe it was mentioned because of COVID that they had some delays. So we're going to be pushed back a week. So we'll skip that week. But then the week after that, we'll be back to do the next episode. So no, there will not be an episode next week, unfortunately. But, after that, we'll be back to normal, hopefully. But that will do it for this episode. So, of course, guys, let me know what you thought about this episode in the comments below. What did you like? What did you didn't like? I saw some people complain about Kanon being the solution for everything. Yeah, I mean, I don't think a girl should be solution for everything. And she is still first in people's books throughout this whole season, which kind of insane to really think about how she kind of is always the solution to every single problem ever so far. And I don't know if that necessarily should be the case. But as for the rest of the episode, and it was kind of fun to see Ren really exaggerate her emotions a lot more because, generally she is a lot more mellow. But once in a while, we get to see her really come out of her shell and show a different side of her. So we got to see that a little bit here and there, but this episode we got to see a lot more. And hey, I like games, and I can definitely relate to that, the struggles that she had, because that definitely does happen to a lot of people. It's a little more extreme, but then again, she never really experienced games, so, for the first time, I could see why it could become a lot more of a problem. But I definitely really did enjoy at least watching this episode and seeing all those moments together. It gets a little bit from most people. We got a bit of the Mei Shiki moments. We got a lot of Mei and Ren moments in here. So I'm hopefully seeing that she will get a little boost in the rankings because Ren is kind of in last place. And that's not great. But I guess someone has to be in last place. But hopefully, this will help her out. And of course, if you're one of those people who are not super fond of Ren, did this episode actually change your mind about her? Do you like her more, or are you more or less unaffected? I'm curious to see what you guys think about it. I really like Ren. This makes me like her even more, but I already liked her, so I don't think that's necessarily going to really change my opinion on her. But I'm curious to see what you guys think about this episode of Consolo, and what do you think is going to happen in the next episode. Of course, I gave you my predictions about the upcoming episode. There really isn't much to work off of on those scenes. No, there's only really one scene that I saw, those girls with a clearly different outfit at their school, and it definitely seemed to be more of a middle school kind of outfit, especially with the kind of like the sailor looking uniforms. That's at least my impression. I might be wrong. It seems a little bit early to do that, but maybe they are going to do it, because we are going to episode 8 here, which means we have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 5 episodes left for the season. So maybe they're starting to look into that. So we'll have to see if that will actually happen. But of course, let me know what you guys thought about it in the comments below. And of course, click in the description below if you wish to participate in that poll. That will close on Thursday. And I want to thank you guys for watching, and hope to catch you guys in another video soon.